Go.
This one is free too. I mean, that one's that's close enough to the So what we're going to do is we're taking 4 different colors and we're wet blending these colors across the floor to kind of make a modeling effect. If you really look at wood, it doesn't have, it's just not one color. It's lots of different colors, and part of it creates the grain. Part of the grain we're going to create as we're painting it. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we paint in the line that the wood grain is going.
Okay.
So that way, these blending of colors together will end up making a streaked effect going across. Then once that dries, we'll take the lining stick, we'll actually line the edges of the boards so that it really looks like boards.
Looks like boards. Okay.
Yes, it looks like boards then. And then we can go back in with the darker color or the lighter color and do a little dry brushing
Okay.
on top of it, but it needs to be dry to do that. But we can dry brush on top of it to just give it a little more texture.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to do.
And Gary, tell them what you asked me about the length versus width.
Well, I would like the boards to come down, but because of the way the plywood is laid down, the plywood, the grain of the plywood is going across the stage.
Right.
And so it won't really matter. It'll still look, I think, really nice with the grain going across, but we're going to take advantage of the grain of the plywood because when you start painting across the grain of the plywood, it's a little bit harder to paint. It's just more work is what it is. And we want to try to get this done. I think it'll be fine having the grain going across, so we're just going to start on this end, go to this end, and make all the grain go acrossways. That way we don't go perpendicular to the grain that's already in the wood.
Right.
And it'll be a lot easier to paint in the long run that way as well. Okay?
Okay.
So I use sticks. I don't like to get on the floor. So I will use sticks. You actually do not have to use one brush per color. We can start and paint, and you can just dip into the thing. They're going to kind of mix and do their thing. That's fine. What you want to do though is try to get most of the color out of your brush before you start going into the other one. We're going to contaminate, but we don't want to just absolutely saturate
Okay.
the contamination. So I like to use sticks because I don't like bending over. So I brought some extra bamboo. The only thing is this isn't a very big area, so I don't know if we can all.
Well, I've got these extensions back here, for doing the floor.
We can, but we're not using a roller because the roller isn't going to give us the graining look that we want.
Right, but I mean, we can tape it to the.
But you can tape it. You're welcome to use the bamboo that I have. I'm going to use this one.
Okay.
And then I brought some extra brushes here as well. And I always want to wet the brush before I start painting because otherwise the paint gets in the brush and starts drying immediately.
Right.
and that isn't good for the brushes. So, trying to get some of the water out of it. And then I'm going to start going with this. So, back here, we've got this area back here to also paint. And it looks like it goes into a brown anyway. But we're just going to keep all the wood graining going the direction that it was. So, I'm going to go ahead and start over here in the corner and start working and show you kind of how.
Ah! It's okay.
Ooh, it's okay?
Thank you. Scared you so well.
You did.
Bad.
That's going to be great on the on the tape. So you're dipping the brush into different colors as you go. Is that
Yes. I'm kind of going over here to get this started
right?
because the corners are always the worst.
Of course.
And I'm not worried about it being with the other stuff that's going on top of it. It's going to be okay that it's kind of watercolory. Once it all dries and once we've done the other stuff to it, it's going to look fine.
Sure.
So, and I'm not worried about drips. It's okay. But I'm going to just kind of put.
I see. Yeah.
You see what's happening there?
Yeah.
So I'm going ahead and I'm trying to get some of the paint out of my brush so that when I go into the next color, it's mostly dry.
So that you don't mix the colors in the can is what you're
No,
trying.
Is that just plain water-based paint?
and it's just plain water, it's acrylic paint.
Okay.
I'm using one bit of this brown over there, in which we need to take this out. This brown is house paint, because I did not have the dark brown at school.
Yeah.
But I did have the reddish brown, and I have the yellow, and I have a darker brown. So what I'm doing is I'm just bringing that in, and I'm going to blend it as I work. I'm going to kind of blend it into what's there.
I'm guessing this is the kind of thing you really can't make a mistake on, because you can always go back and fix it.
Yeah, I mean, chances are while you're working wet, so the good thing is that you can fix things. The only, yes, you can do, for instance, if you can end up working it so much that it becomes mud.
Right.
You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you try to keep some of these colors, and you don't want to just totally obliterate blending the color to just
Right.
one thing. You want to try to have you want to try to keep these colors so that they are showing up.
Does it?
Bleeding through on each other?
Do what?
Sort of bleeding through on each other?
Yeah. So they bleed through, and
Go ahead.
Was this your first color, Gary?
it doesn't matter. Just go with what.
And it doesn't seem to matter whether you start with the dark or the light, like Mike
Nope,
started with the
it
really
doesn't-
light
it
and you were
doesn't
with the
matter.
brown. Okay. It's gonna look great. I can see that already. Oh, Pat's not there.
Yeah, this will be interesting, because Donna Williamson did this on a couple of things, but it was really late.
Okay, you're getting a little bit too yellow. You want to try to get some of the other colors
Right.
in there. And like I said, let's say I'm just doing a streak, and then allowing some dead space in between, and then I'll go back in and bring those other colors into those,
Oh,
instead of just having a solid piece.
You need more brown in there, Mike. Or the burnt sienna, or whatever. Excuse me, whatever that color is. That is so cool looking. Careful, Mike, you're getting it kind of muddled, so. You don't want to get it too muddy looking.
We're using this color too.
Yep, we're using all four of these.
Okay, I'm gonna stop this for now.